y'all win a lot of races with David Pearson in the 70s, and then the wheels come off at Darlington.
Yeah. Glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask you. I didn't live, that experience, but I've done my homework, and I love watching all those races from the 70s, and I know I know what I think I need to know about David Pearson, and I know how much you guys thought of him as a driver. But what is happening between y'all that at that moment, I mean, it looks to me like a simple mistake, a miscommunication. Well, what happened that allowed that to boil over to a departure, and y'all split up?
Well, we kind of thought he was wanting to quit racing, and we was going to change 4 tires. We said we'd change 4 tires.
Was he saying that?
Huh?
Was he talking about that? What was giving you that impression?
I forget how it come up, but we could just kind of tell it looked like he was ready. Anyway, we was going to change 4 tires. We said 4 tires. Well, he took off with 2 before we got the other 2 on, which ended up kind of we got upset, and so right afterwards we said, well, let's forget about it. And I was already talking to him about what was going to run Martinsville, and just let it blow over. And our sponsor said, no, you're going too far, and made us go ahead and go through with it.
Really?
Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't have split up. Biggest mistake we ever made.
You think?
Yeah.
He had how many more years left, you think?
I don't know, but he goes on and wins
he had a couple more
Southern
wins.
500.
Yeah.
We go down there. David wasn't there. Well, they wanted Neil to shake David's car down. Neil was driving our car. And so Neil said, well, you won't have to worry about David tomorrow. Says, that thing's so loose you can't drive it. He wins the race, don't even turn a jack screw.
Wow.
That's what I'm telling you, that the way he drove, he could get away with your car rolling free through the corner.
Sure. He drove him loose.
Yeah. It wasn't loose for David.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say it was the biggest mistake, was that your words that you guys made?
Yeah.
Was it a mistake letting him loose? Was it a mistake listening to the sponsor and let them dictate your next move?
Mistake letting the best driver get away from you.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. You've been together so long.
I made a very similar mistake.
Yeah.
Splitting with Tony Sr. when things had went so well for us in 2004. I can understand how in those moments you can make those decisions. But I'd always wondered, how that happened, because y'all were so good together, and that thing at Daytona, Darlington on pit road doesn't seem like a deal breaker, right? That's just a miscommunication.
Well, it got to where we wasn't winning as much as we were, and I don't care who you are or what you are. Sometimes you get the edge on the other team, on your competition. And then that may last for a year or two, and then somebody else gets the edge on you. So that's kind of what happened. We was in a down slump from the way we were.
Yeah, sure.
A little bit. But since you mentioned that you and Tony Jr., I was at your wedding.
Yeah.
And you and Tony Jr. got to talking about, it was when you started out, and I believe you was at Darlington. And you said, something's wrong with this car.
Yes.
And they didn't think you knew what you were talking about.
That's right.
And I believe they said, well, you just go ahead and drive it. And you said that you was going to quit, you wasn't going to drive no more and all that. And they end up what? Well, the axle was broke finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, something was wrong. Went back at the shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
We were running 7th, qualified top 10, running 7th, and then the thing got super loose, and I don't know, really bad. And I spun off of 2, hit the inside wall, and Darlington's a 2-lane racetrack. They fixed the car, and they sent me back out there. And I said, well, not only now am I driving a car with no front end on it, and it's bent, but I got that axle's still in the car, broke. And I said, I don't know, I can't even get out of the way, y'all. This is terrible. And I came in and parked it and got out and I walked away. And Tony Sr. and Tony Jr. were very furious with me, very, very furious. And so Dad finishes the race, and I meet him to go home with him. I'm flying in the helicopter with him, and we're walking to the helicopter. And I said, Dad, I ain't racing no more. I said, give me a desk job. I don't give a damn what job it is. I ain't driving if this is how it's got to go. Because I got told I was a quitter. I got told all these things that I was like, I ain't into living like this. And he just let it go in one ear and out the other, right? He's like, we'll see. We get back to the shop, and Tony's Jr., I walk in the door on Monday, and Tony Jr. hands me that axle, and all the teeth is missing off the splines. And he goes, I thought it was interesting he give that to me, because the way they was talking to me the day before, I thought I'd never seen that. I'd never see that axle, even if it was
even
tore
if you
up.
were right. They're not gonna.
Tony Jr. met me at the door, and he's like, "Hey, found your problem," and I was like, "Give me that damn thing." I'm walking that son around this whole shop for a week. On everybody, like, hey man, it wasn't me. Dad, I'm back.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't want that desk job anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, the list of drivers, since we're on this topic, the list of drivers that have run for Wood Brothers is some headstrong individuals. I'm hearing some names. So when it comes to telling people to shut up and drive, how do you do that with some of the characters? Like how the dynamics between you guys as the ownership and the mechanics and the crew, and then these headstrong drivers, and they can all be in their own ways, head cases, and I mean that in a good way. But how you got such a diverse lineup of personalities that you guys have worked with. What's the secret of working with all them?
Number one, you don't tell AJ Foyt that criticize him or nothing like that. I tell him I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You explain why you're going to do it. We're going to do it this way or whatever, and explain what you're going to feel or what. But we was at California, and we was running okay, and he says, I think we need to have a different spring in the right front. And I said, okay. So I put it, he says, now that really feels good. And I says, yeah, but you run a half a second slower. He said, bull ass. Put it back like you had it. And then he goes on and wins the race. He was out there one time, the first race out there at the California, Ontario.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And he was leading the race, and he said, I got a tire shaking. I got to come in. And so I had a caution flag, and he didn't come in. And they was paying $150 a lap back then, that first race. And he said it just got to thinking it didn't feel too bad picking up $150 a lap. And went on wins the race.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. But we had some great times together. We've Wood Brothers has had the best drivers in the world. And
yeah. Was there ever a driver that y'all had a hard time to get along with? That might have been just kind of a little difficult.
We had a little bit of problem with Earl Balmer.
Yeah.
Cale was running California in a speedway car, maybe, or something other. Anyway, Earl Balmer had to fill in, and so we got it's a Galaxy with 2 4-barrel carburetors on it, 427. And last race at Fred Lorenzen run Darlington was a 396 with 1 carburetor. And so Fred told him that he should be able to get back wide open on it in the corner, in the middle of the corner, and come through wide open. Well, he might have done it with a 396, but he wasn't going to do it with a 427 2 4-barrel. So he took his word for it. So he, bam, right into the wall he went with it. But yeah, we didn't get him going as good as we have some of them.
Is that right? So I mean, it doesn't sound like y'all had. I guess when you're working, when you're driving for the Wood Brothers, you probably don't make things difficult. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I think there's always that one driver that tries.
I know. You would think there'd be one guy that didn't get it, didn't have any self-awareness.
Yeah.
I always believed in, when I was setting the car up for the guy, I always explain what I did and what he might feel. I've had crew chiefs tell me that, I changed so-and-so, and he couldn't even tell the difference. Well, all these changes to make, how many changes you ever made, it just made that much difference.
Right.
And if you tell a guy what he's looking for, he'll say, it might have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
And there's so many things you absolutely can't tell the difference, even though if it is a tenth difference, Doing a test session at Talladega, and I had him to go out and read the tachometer. And he'd say, well, this might be 25 hundredths quicker. And I changed 6 things, and every one of them was about that much difference, And Donnie Allison had set the car on pole, and he went to California at 186. He went to California to run a car for AJ Foyt in the Indy cars. And so after I got through, I turned him loose, and he run 188 miles an hour, 2 miles an hour quicker, just for that little change. And I'll think of him after a while.
You'll think of it. Give me one more name. I want to hear about Curtis Turner. Well, we don't talk about Curtis Turner on the show enough, and everything I know about him would have been just from stuff I've read in Legend. What's something about that man that we should all know about?
He had more control of a car of anybody I've ever seen. He just, whether it's sideways, up on the bank, or whatever, he just had so much feel of a car. Nowadays, he would go run the turns too hard. I mean, at a track where you could overdrive one, he wanted to go in there wide open, on dirt, he was just such a show to watch him run, We was up at Ileana outside of Chicago in a USAC race after NASCAR season was over. We went up there, got invited to go up there. So he's set in 3rd place. Paul Goldsmith's on the outside, and another guy on the inside, and another guy on the outside. Well, he just dives down the inside over the rumple strips and everything, and comes out on the backside ahead.
Wow!
Oh, he just so much control of a driver.
It's amazing.
I was wondering about looking at that list of names, and what was the driver that y'all maybe didn't get a lot of time with that you wish you'd had more races with?
Well, I guess David.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we'd have worked it out.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so funny. I mean, when they had that wreck down there in 1976, him and Pearson, him and Petty.
Yes.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This guy asked him, was he mad? He said, no, but I was getting ready to be if I hadn't won that race.
Yeah.
How bad was that car tore up?
Not all that bad. The sheet metal was all ripped up.
It looked like just sheet metal, but I didn't know if
he
it
still made another lap, I know you heard the story, he's spinning around in the grass, and I had Eddie always used the radio, because I couldn't understand on the radio, couldn't understand what he's saying. He keyed the radio and told Eddie, says, the blank hit me. And so while he's spinning around, and so somebody confronted Dale Earnhardt about it, about him hitting him. Dale said he didn't hit him hard enough.
Oh. That's good.
Dale Earnhardt, we was, I guess you'd say, big rivals back then,
Yes.
extreme competitive against each other. But bottom line is Dale and Richard both as good of friends as we got right now. And I think when you so strong, competitive with another team, a team that is exceptionally good, it makes you friendship stronger.
Yeah.
After it's all over, you look back and you both make each other better.
That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, the 21 and the 43 run first and second to each other so many times through that period of time in the 70s with Richard and David.
Life is best lived in motion. And that's why Tire Pros gets you ready for all your driving adventures. Whether it's along corners and curves, across city and state lines. Because we're more than just tires. We're auto care too. Tire Pros, so you can focus on the road ahead.